Hello, hello. Hope everyone's doing good. A couple of great things, some great news today to share with you. If you are not aware, the United States bishops, the USCCB, decided, I think it was in 2025, they decided to consecrate the United States of America to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And that is going down. I just learned from someone I know that the date for that consecration has a specific date now, which is June 11th of 2026 of this present year of our Lord. So June 11th, 2026, the United States bishops are going to consecrate the United States of America to the Sacred Heart, which is amazing. We just talked about the desired consecration of Russia. So I don't think I talked about what a consecration, what it entails, what it really is. So I want to talk about that now and then kind of talk about a little bit of details about the consecration that's happening in less than a month. So a consecration basically just means a setting apart of something or someone for a specific purpose. In this case, often you'll hear about, a consecration of a person, like a religious, and that person's being set aside for a life of specific service to God. Everyone should be serving God, but a religious's life is very specific and unique in the service of God. And obviously a priest also consecrated specific purpose service for God. What the bishops are going to do is they're going to set apart the country of the United States of America for the service of God, specifically for the service to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, which is incredible. It's amazing. Think about the possibilities of that. The consecration will be powerful. It will be effective, and I'm excited to see what that will mean for our country. I'm excited to see what America, through our prayer, our sacrifice, will be able to do for the Lord in his providence and his plan for the salvation of men. So it's exciting stuff. And considering that we are the most powerful, the United States of America, maybe objectively speaking, or if you don't like that, it just appears to be the most powerful nation in the world. So consecrating, setting apart the most powerful nation in the world for the service to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. That's exciting stuff, in my opinion. I think it's a great idea by the bishops. They decided to do what they said because I think this summer, July 4th, will be the 250th anniversary of the nation from 1776. So it's a big year, quarter of a millennia. So I'm super excited about that. A huge detail about the consecration is that the bishops have put out a novena that starts on June 3rd to prepare the country for the consecration on June 11th. So I encourage everyone to look it up. The Diocese of Phoenix has it posted. I'm sure other dioceses have it too. Look it up. Start that novena on June 3rd. I believe the bishop said you can do that novena anytime between now and July 4th. But I recommend doing it with the main novena that will be happening on June 3rd. In theory, people all over the country, I even encourage, I don't know how they'll feel about it, but tell your non-Catholic Christian friends to pray this novena with us. They shouldn't really be against novenas, and I don't know why they would be against the Sacred Heart of Jesus. So if you can get them on board, get them on board. It's going to be amazing. I'm excited for it. And then it just reminds me of how, this could be the lead up maybe for a consecration of Russia in the coming years before 2029, hopefully. So that exciting news, I wanted to mention that. And then also I told someone that I know about, because I'm trying to let everyone know about this consecration novena. And then they sent me back. They're like, oh, have you seen this? And I had not. Apparently there's this movie coming to America. I believe it was, I don't know a lot. I heard about this today and I thought it was really exciting. They sent me this movie that will be showing, I believe, in America on June 9th, 11th, and 14th in theaters called Sacred Heart, His Reign Has No End. And there's a specific word. It is a docudrama. I actually haven't heard of that before, but I'm assuming it's a drama that is just depicting accurately the historical events. But it's going to be about St. Margaret Mary and obviously the Sacred Heart, how the Sacred Heart devotion began. There's a little trailer if you want to go watch the trailer at sacredheartfilm.us. You can check out the trailer. So that's also exciting. So this June, America's going off. I love it. Amazing. I don't know if the film is actually American or in English, but the trailer was in English, but I don't know if it was dubbed. I'm not sure. You watch it, let me know if it was dubbed, because I'm not really sure. But that's another thing that's happening. Both amazing things. It's awesome. So we should be excited about that. The consecration, the novena, this movie, Sacred Heart, June being the month of the Sacred Heart. Let's go. Let's keep it, get it right, keep it going. Amazing. Make sure you're praying your rosary. Month of May, pray your rosary. Pray your rosary all through June, and then just keep praying the rest of your life. And then pray 4 rosaries a day. And then God can use us to save a bunch of souls. All right, so that's the first part of this, very quick. And then I wanted to share with y'all a couple things from St. Teresa of Avila. The first thing I wanted to share, which order should I do it in? This is the book. This is, Fulfillment of All Desire. It's great. I'm always finding little nuggets in here. I'll share this first. This is St. Teresa of Avila. She's so good at talking about this. And this is something that I've tried to harp on with people I know. And it is a hard thing to grasp or to accept. But she's so good at this. And she starts out by saying, all life is short, and the life of some extremely short. She's always emphasizing how short our life is. And she's always emphasizing her desire to die and to be with our Lord. Very radical. It makes, especially the modern Western mind or the modern first world mind, it makes us very uncomfortable. We're very blocked off from death. I remember, not to be super controversial, but I remember during COVID, the amount of people that were and COVID we know now was not a very, I guess relatively speaking or comparatively speaking, it's not a very deadly sickness, disease, virus, whatever you want to call it. Man-made or not, it was not very deadly. But the fear-mongering of it was able to control a lot of people because we have a huge fear of death and we are not exposed to it enough. I maybe just added that second part on my own. But it seems to me that we have a very strong uncomfortability with the idea of death. And St. Teresa of Avila is like, you need to realize that. You need to dwell on that. You need to think about that. She goes on to say, and how do we know if ours won't be so short that at the very hour or moment we determine to serve God completely, it will come to an end? So everyone's, even like an atheist, maybe not an atheist, most people understand, if they're somewhat acknowledging a higher power, so maybe not an atheist, that it's good to do good. It's good to serve God. But are we going to wait to serve God? St. Teresa's like, you could die today. You could die in an hour. Why are you waiting to serve God? And then lastly, she says, in sum, there is no reason to give importance to anything that will come to an end. And who will not work hard if he thinks that each hour is his last? Well, believe me, thinking this is the safest course. So she's saying, be thinking about this. This hour I might die. This day I might die. And that's actually the safest course, the safest boat or path to the heavenly homeland. This is something I emphasize, and I want people to get on this. Not, people think it'll make them depressed or something. It actually frees you a lot to live truly, to kind of squeeze every moment, squeeze the day, or carpe diem, as some people like to say, to squeeze all of the present moment out, to get all of life has to offer, everything that God has to offer. And helpful to this is practicing the presence of God, practicing the presence of Mary in the present moment, not in the future, not in the past, right now in this very moment. So St. Teresa, she's always, and as I come across more of her words on this, I will mention it because she is so on that. That's what I think I really get it from her. I talk about death all the time. It's probably some from St. Teresa of Avila. And then another thing from her, as people are working through the spiritual life, trying to grow in holiness and virtue, she has a lot of suggestions, but this one kind of caught me a little bit. And this is just to give you some preface here of what she's talking about. She's talking about someone who is trying to leave mortal sin. That's specifically the context here. But I think it's really good advice, and advice that maybe is not said a lot or told to people a lot, especially when they're first converting, is she's talking about herself. And I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's a long thing, but I'll paraphrase it. She's talking about herself and how the biggest thing that was holding her back, she was already a nun. She was a sister, but she didn't really go hard until she was in her late 30s. And she was saying the biggest thing that was holding her back was not avoiding occasions of sin. And these occasions of sin for her took the form of specific events or places, but also of people. She says, let me see if I can find it here. She says, "For had they told me of the danger I was in and that I had the obligation to avoid those friendships, without a doubt, I believe I would have remedied the matter." So she's talking about how there's these specific friendships, these people that she would talk to on a regular basis that were actually like keeping her back in the spiritual life. And she's even talking about there, she's referencing the fact that there was these confessors that in her wisdom, she says, were too soft with her. Actually, she had these recurring sins, and these confessors are basically telling her like, "Oh, it's not a big deal." And later on, when she's advanced in the spiritual life, she was saying like, "That was a mistake by them. Actually, I wish they had told me the harm that these friendships and relationships were causing me." So that's some food for thought. If anyone, you're fighting for freedom from sin, from mortal sin, from purposeful venial sin. Maybe there is a place, a situation, an event, or even a friendship or a person that is kind of holding you back. It doesn't mean to be mean to them or anything, but to ask the Lord for that wisdom and that grace to realize what might be holding us back from truer freedom, liberty in the spirit, from virtue, from holiness, to break those chains of mortal sin and purposeful venial sin. Amazing stuff from St. Teresa. I recommend reading her stuff. Obviously, the book, The Fulfillment of All Desires, it will smack you around a little bit in a positive way. It's good stuff. So that's all I have for you today. Remember the consecration, Sacred Heart's coming. Today is May 18th, so it's not that far away. So start prepping it. Pray your rosary every day. Pray the rosary every day. Get ready for that consecration. Sacred Heart of Jesus, have mercy on us. That's it for today. God bless you. God keep you. Please subscribe, like, comment, and I will see you soon. Good night.